Hello everyone, I'm extremely excited about doing a book review for No Walls in the Recurring Dream, a memoir by Anais Difranco. I was very conflicted about doing this review because I have been so influenced by Anais Difranco, her music, her art, her poetry, her paintings, her drawings. For more than half my life, I believe, my friends introduced me to her fairly early on. I heard one song and that was it. I was clicked in and started going to the shows. There was this question that I kept having with people when I said that I wanted to do this review, and it was that reading this book I found that there was so much about Anais that I had assumed from her songs. She's pretty straightforward about her songs. What she says in the songs. There's not a lot of metaphor, although there are some really beautiful, artsy, metaphorical songs in her repertoire. When she sings about things that have happened to her or what she believes in her activism, I thought, okay, I know the story. So the question kept coming back around to, well, how much should we really know artists that are so influential to ourselves? And my answer was I had a non-answer. I didn't know what to do. And then all of a sudden, I started thinking about movies that I review and how the stories are so complex and how you want to know more and more about the character and what inspired them and what motivates them. And then I said, you know, I have to do the book review because there is this part of us that pre-social media that wants to know about names, dates, time, places of people that are our heroes. Anais has the talent that she should be at, you know, Alanis Morissette kind of level. But, you know, she did it herself. She did it her own way. And there used to be a website dedicated to Anais called On Her Own. And she talks about the On Her Own agenda that she had in the book, being very independent, not sacrificing your your morality, to benefit the corporate world or corporate America. There's a lot of lessons to be learned in this book, a lot of activism that's explained and why, and it's a very good read for someone who doesn't know a lot about Anais, doesn't know about the Righteous Babe, doesn't know about the independent entrepreneur who amassed such a huge following with almost no radio play or airplay, and who just had the best word of mouth of any artist, really. The title, No Walls in the Recurring Dream, most people think with her activism it must be about the border. It's not. No Walls is just the starting chapter. The Recurring Dream is the ending chapter. The book goes from her childhood all the way up to 2001. No Walls just simply means it was about her mother, and her mother was an architect, one of the first female architects up in New York State. She designed she had a whole interesting idea of how a house should be designed without any walls. And there was a second floor, but it was mostly a bathroom area. So Anais, her parents, and her brother, they all slept on the first floor, but they didn't have any bedroom walls. And in The Recurring Dream, you'll just have to read the book to go to that. But the book stops in 2001. I really think that's because her style of music changed. Her probably a great deal to do with her second husband, her man that she's with now, and the production team that came in, and how the album started to really become highly produced. Some of the things that shocked me in the book were assumptions I had made based on songs like Angry Anymore, or when she talks about how having an effed up family and stuff like that, because in the book she's so love that she had for her father, and explaining her father's immigrant way of loving the country and wanting to participate in paying taxes, and how brilliant he was, and her uncle being part of the group that made some of the atomic warfare, and her mother being an architect and a feminist, and all these wonderful things. And it's just incredible how she talks about her brother's mental illness, and there's just all this love, especially with her father when he was starting to his life was starting to end, how there she was for him, and how much she really loved her dad. And then there's a song, it's the song about when Ani was raped, and I believe it's called Gratitude. And she talks about how after, just weeks after the assault happened, she wrote the song and she was singing it to people who knew the guy who had done this to her. That was very interesting. I didn't know that either. So I didn't know about how much she loved her family. I didn't know the backstory behind the sexual assault that happened in England. I didn't know that she ran and hobnobbed. Not really hobnobbed, but she was in and out of Tori Amos' life, Suzanne Vega's life. Is it Michelle Shocked? I don't. So many people. It was interesting because a lot of people want to know who the song Napoleon is about, which is about an artist who gets signed early on and is pretty much trashed by their label. Everyone is an effing Napoleon, and how she said this artist was just crying to Ani about how she should have never signed the deal. And I'm pretty sure it's not Suzanne Vega anymore. Everyone thinks it's Suzanne Vega, but the way that Ani talks so respectfully of how Suzanne Vega was really one of the first women she ever saw play the guitar like Ani plays. Ani plays the guitar a lot better than Suzanne Vega, but Suzanne Vega plays a really good guitar. The other thing that was really shocking to me in the book, that I kind of forgot there at the end of that clip, was there was a lot of talk to do about her becoming an emancipated minor. And I think I always had this vibe that it was something that the family had a very hard time with, and it was just this roller coaster ride and turbulent, and it wasn't at all. All it was that her mother had moved out of Buffalo. I don't think her father lived there anymore. I think her father and brother moved. I'm not sure of that. But all it was Ani wanting to stay in Buffalo, continue to learn guitar and learn from Michael Meldrum. The family was completely supportive of Ani doing this. There was no shock about Ani being so independent at such an early age. I think One thing I have to talk about right off the bat that I didn't mention was the packaging of this is perfection. And if you know anything about Ani, she loves an oil slicked vibe. If you have her album Which Side Are You On, you really see that. That was inspired by the oil spill disaster that was off the coast of Norway. It's just a very incredible read for someone who is such a fan, and it's a very informational read for someone who wants to know more about Ani, her belief system, this incredible way she discusses the binary relationship part of what life is, which is that I can only exist through your eyes. We can only have what we call world or consciousness from the observation that you have of me and I have of you. And of course her extreme, never wavering feminist approach to everything in her life that is just profound and wonderful and beautiful. And there's a lot to learn. I think that's as much as I want to say, or I can say. And like I said, I've been really putting off reviewing this book, but I want to get it out there, and I don't want this to be a forever long video, which it already is. So I might make a second video just talking about the records that I own and what they meant to me at the time, and how much my life aligned with so many of the albums that were coming out every year. Like I said, I was introduced to her fairly early on in my life. Based out of Buffalo, moved to New Orleans, loves New Orleans, but really respected Buffalo. Had a wonderful way of explaining her relationship to her mother, her relationship to her children, and wonderful read to experience that. So thank you all for listening to this book review. And like I said, I'm doing my color-coded alerts, and I would definitely give this a red alert status for someone who doesn't know a single thing about Ani, because I think you can really learn a lot about a young woman's life in the 70s and 80s and 90s, and transitioning into really a sage in the community, in the folk indie community. So, and now very much in the popular community. So thank you so much for watching this very long book review. And I hope that other people are doing book reviews too. And thank goodness for the people at the Facebook group that's on, look it up, the Anais Difranco fan page. I'm just so happy that the Facebook group is up, because it's like just instant, especially with her touring right now, instantaneous information and reading people's reviews and responding to yours. It's just been so delightful. So thank you guys so much. I hope that I gave this book justice. It is, just look at this image right here, the righteous babe. I'm so glad that I was exposed to Ani. Thank you, Laura, for yeah, it was kind of your fault that I fell in love with her so hard that I did. So yeah, thank you guys so much.